Krispy Kreme is a donut company and coffeehouse chain that opened in 1933. Thank you for your suggestion.
When it comes to loving chocolate, Krispy Kreme's got you covered. Introducing Chocolate Time. Every day starting at 4 o'clock, Krispy Kreme turns into a chocolate lover's paradise. Featuring the chocolate glazed, our original donut hot off the line, drenched in chocolate and topped the way you like it. Thinking chocolate? Think Krispy Kreme.
In 1933, 18-year-old Vernon Rudolph, along with his brother Louis Rudolph, began working for his uncle, Ishmael Armstrong, who owned a small general store in Paducah, Kentucky, that sold a wide variety of goods, including its very popular donuts. At first, the small business primarily sold and delivered donuts to local grocery stores. The recipe for their donuts was inspired by an Ohio barge cook named Joseph LaBeouf, who was famous for his light and fluffy donuts. The store would struggle during the Great Depression, and in 1934, Vernon and Ishmael decided to move to Nashville, Tennessee, where they hoped business would be better. The uncle and nephew focused solely on selling their donuts and opened the Krispy Kreme Donut Company in a rented store on Gallatin Road. The shop did so well that Vernon's father, Plummy, also left Kentucky and moved to Nashville to help sell donuts. The company was officially established. Eventually, Rudolph opened a shop in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Rudolph primarily sold to convenience stores, however. He also sold hot donuts to individual customers who came during production time between midnight and 4 a.m. The first store in North Carolina was located in a rented building at 534 South Main Street in Winston-Salem, in what is now called the historic Old Salem. The Krispy Kreme logo was designed by Benny Dinkins, a local architect. Once short on cash, Rudolph borrowed money from a local grocer, promising to pay him back once he sold enough donuts. The grocer didn't have to wait long. With other family members brought into the business, the company branched out to Charleston, West Virginia, and Atlanta, Georgia. The first Krispy Kreme bakery outside of the South opened in Akron, Ohio in 1939. Expansion occurred in the 1950s, including an early store in Savannah, Georgia. By the 1960s, Krispy Kreme had developed and established its trademark look, a store topped by a green roof and emblazoned with a marching K symbol. By this time, the coffee house had been added, and a large window gave customers a close-up look at Krispy Kreme's unique donut-making process. Krispy Kreme was known throughout the Southeast, and it began to expand into other areas. Vernon Rudolph died in 1943, and soon after, the company was sold to a large food service business, a wholly owned subsidiary of Beatrice Foods of Chicago, Illinois. The new owners implemented many changes, not all for the best. New and different ingredients were used to make the donuts, diluting the distinctive Krispy Kreme flavor. Also, quality further suffered as attention to detail diminished. In 1982, Beatrice Foods sold the company to its former workers and franchisees who had brought with them the knowledge of the old ways. Krispy Kreme was back on track. Krispy Kreme began another phase of rapid expansion in the 1990s, opening stores outside the southeastern United States where most of their stores were located. Krispy Kreme blossomed in the late 1990s thanks largely to the guidance of its CEO, Scott Livingood, who was instrumental in transforming it from a regional wholesaler into a nationally recognized and leading brand specialty retailer. In guiding the company through its expansion, Scott developed markets for Krispy Kreme donuts across the United States, and he had taken the company into Canada while planning for even more international growth. The company began its expansion in 1996 when it had only 95 stores. By the turn of the century, it had more than 200. On April 5, 2000, the company went public. December of 2001, Krispy Kreme opened its first store outside of the US in Ontario, Canada. Krispy Kreme also designed and perfected a new donut machine about the size of a small car that could help the company open even more outlets in places like center city locations, train stations, and small towns. The machine's smaller size made it possible for the company to open smaller stores that could be operated more cheaply and in spaces about 1/5 the size of its typical 4,500 square foot store. By February of 2004, the company reported sales of $665 million and operating profits of $95 million from almost 400 stores, including international locations. But in May of 2004, the company suffered its first loss as a public company. Chairman and CEO Scott Livengood blamed its poor results to a low-carbohydrate diet craze. But honestly, this excuse met with skepticism since rival donut chain Dunkin' Donuts had not suffered from the low-carb trend during the same compared period. In 2004, the number of Krispy Kreme donut stores in the US peaked with 393 units. By 2005, the company's stock had dropped significantly, causing it to plummet in earnings, as well as allegations that the company had some questionable accounting practices. In December of 2005, the company began to make plans to reverse its losses, first by closing unprofitable stores in order to avoid bankruptcy. Market analysts felt that the chain had overexpanded and oversaturated some areas, kind of like those ABC stores in Hawaii and the Starbucks chain. Too many stores in the same area would cannibalize its profits, as well as create competition within itself. This overly ambitious expansion had devalued Krispy Kreme brand's novelty by making the once specialty donuts appear common due to the mass production of pre-made donuts, straying away from its roots where they were always made fresh. Besides royalty payments from new stores, the parent company also enjoyed significant profits by requiring franchisees to purchase mix and donut-making equipment from the parent's Krispy Kreme manufacturing and distribution division, drawing criticism from franchisees and analysts alike. By comparison, rival chain Dunkin' Donuts generally avoided selling equipment or materials to its franchisees, which it believed keeps company and franchisee interests aligned, as well as having a royalty stream based on same-store sales. Krispy Kreme also grew criticism because they were accused of channel stuffing by franchisees, where stores would receive twice their regular shipments in the final weeks of the quarter so that headquarters could make its numbers. The company was also dogged by questionable transactions and self-dealing accusations over the buybacks of franchisees, including those operated by company insiders. On March 4, 2009, the SEC issued a cease and desist order against Krispy Kreme for its actions inflating their revenues and engaging in illicit activities regarding the purchasing of its own stores to prop up revenues and setting up mechanisms to guarantee that it beat earnings estimates. In 2010, Krispy Kreme Express, a delivery service for businesses, began its operation. In the early 2010s, the company began developing shops with tunnel ovens, which allowed for an all-day hot now, hot donut experience. On February 24, 2015, Krispy Kreme opened its 1,000th shop in Kansas City, Kansas. The next year, in July, Jab Holding Company, a German investment firm, purchased the company for $1.3 billion. And less than 2 months later, they would make the company privately owned. In 2018, Krispy Kreme acquired bakery chain Insomnia Cookies, which continues to operate independently. In August of 2020, the first Krispy Kreme vending machine was launched, featuring 3 packs of donuts available 24 hours a day. In July of 2021, the company went public again on the NASDAQ. In 2022, the number of Krispy Kreme donut stores in the US was around 352, down from the previous year's total of 373. Thank you for watching. If you like this content, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Thanks.